thank you all for joining us on this call, where we would be teaching you how to make use of LinkedIn to secure opportunities. My name is Akinyo Alerolua. I just finished my mechanical engineering degree from Covenant University, and I started this project. Before I go deep into what the project is all about, I would like to appreciate everyone for, in response to the turnout of events from the last scheduled date. Thank you all for your patience and your understanding. Really appreciate it. Okay, so now I'll be sharing a video which would summarize the whole project, the essence of this whole project, and what we are trying to achieve, and what this whole project is all about.
Influx of venture capitalists in Africa. It's quite clear that the route to developing this continent is by increasing the number of entrepreneurs. Who is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is someone who makes use of available resources to create value through innovation, in turn making wealth. We believe that entrepreneurship cannot be taught, but can only be inspired, as we are all products of influence. At One Accord, we are dedicated to inspire the entrepreneurial mindsets of African youths, as we encourage them on their journey to creating lasting value. Hence, we increase economic empowerment. This we plan to achieve through storytelling and networking, which will not only increase the number of entrepreneurs, but will increase the unemployed youths, as they get a better chance of being able to themselves. By creating an online community where youths connect with prominent people in the world of work. Hence, we build a network of key players, a sort of ecosystem on our platform. It doesn't end here. We go the extra mile by creating an idea validation bootcamp where youths can bring their ideas as we provide them with knowledge and connect their ideas with existing technology to better sell the solution. We believe with this we'll be able to reduce unemployment and aid the development of Africa as a whole. Thank you.
StepUp is one of the expressions of One Accord, which is the mother company, and our aim is to reduce unemployment in Africa. We believe LinkedIn is like an international conference, and after every conference, there's always this networking session where you have to network with people for future business transactions and the likes. So what we are doing with this training is to give you the best first impression so that you can network with other people. And I advise that you drop your LinkedIn details in the comment section and let everybody network with each other, even in comment section. While you can drop your questions, as we'll be taking questions also, drop all your all questions that have been bothering you concerning the platform LinkedIn. And I believe that this will be a great time. Thank you very much. Now I'll be introducing the speakers. So first person I'll be speaking to us is Tosin. Tosin is an energy enthusiast, and she's a student of Covenant University. And she has been very active on LinkedIn, and she has been producing good content and helping people to maximize the use of LinkedIn as a student, even without necessarily getting a job. But with what she's doing, she's been doing it, creating a brand for herself. I'd like to introduce Tosin. Tosin.
Hi, everybody. Nice to be here. As Anu has rightly introduced me, my name is Akito Onwatosin, and I am an energy enthusiast, which means that I am excited about all things energy and energy related. I spend a lot of my time learning about the energy industry. I'm so sorry for my voice, and if I sneeze, I have a cold. So I'm very enthusiastic about the energy industry and all things energy, and I spend a lot of my time learning about the energy industry. I'm also a certified project manager and health and safety officer. I advocate for energy resources because energy is actually my passion, and I have held or I hold several leadership positions across several strata. And what is so surprising is that I am a student. I recently hit over 4,000 followers on LinkedIn, which I'm very excited about. And my LinkedIn journey started exactly 1 year, January 2020. I decided to take LinkedIn seriously. And I think I am a testimony to how with proper strategies and proper implementable plans, LinkedIn can work for anybody. So a brief backstory to my LinkedIn journey. I'd actually been on LinkedIn since I think about 2017, but I'm one of those people that just have a LinkedIn profile for, oh, let's have a LinkedIn profile sake. So in December of 2019 or November of 2019, I started taking my journey to looking for an internship placement very seriously. And at that time, I realized that I didn't have any, connections. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know who to talk to about getting serious with LinkedIn, about just getting a job, how to even start with. I had information, and most people that were in my school, in a level above me, were giving me advice of how I should take LinkedIn seriously and how, get a LinkedIn account. And I said I had a LinkedIn account, like, use it. So I came on LinkedIn and I started researching, and I'm like, how do I get it done? How do I get that profile? And I'll come on and I'll see people with 10K LinkedIn followers, and I'm like, why can't I have this type of network? Like, I need this type of LinkedIn network. I need to have 10,000 people in my sector, in my network. And I started researching about networking and branding. And to cut the long story short, I ended up getting 2 multinational internship placements and 1 national internship placement. I ended up picking one, which was Chevron Nigeria Limited. I didn't exactly get it from LinkedIn, but I did actually. Somebody gave me the link to apply from LinkedIn, and I was able to apply for several other countries, and I ended up getting 3 placements, which I really did enjoy, and I chose Chevron. So I did my 6 months internship in Chevron, and I have gotten several other job opportunities from LinkedIn. Most of my job opportunities on my LinkedIn profile are from LinkedIn. So I think I would like to share my screen because I enjoy talking about LinkedIn and speaking through my profile, so I will be sharing my screen. And okay, so I really do, Anu, can we confirm that we can all see my screen? I'll check YouTube. Can we confirm that?
Yes, your screen is visible.
Okay, thank you. So this is my humble LinkedIn profile, and and I like I said, I know a lot of people that will be coming to us today are professionals, are LinkedIn coaches, but I am a student like many of us here today, and I literally don't have as much job experience as many people, or I'm not an exec or anything, but I have 4,000 people that are really to give me attention on LinkedIn. So this is my LinkedIn profile. And I first want to take us through setting up our profile. So I think the common mistake that many of us are making, the common things that many of us are making, is that we think that a mediocre profile will literally get us through. And that is not the case, because take for example me, if anybody requests to join my network on LinkedIn, the first thing I will look out for is what does this person's profile story tell? So what is the story behind your profile? So anybody that sees my profile and sees all my work experience and sees everything I have done knows that I am very passionate about STEM, and the girl in STEM knows that I'm passionate about the energy industry and all things energy related. And also knows that I'm very passionate about people and passionate about energy and all things energy. I'm an energy enthusiast, and I hope to one day be an energy engineer. I would like to say that you define your story, and you are the one that defines what you want to be, what you want to be like, or what you want to be known about on LinkedIn. You are the one that dictates who you are on LinkedIn. Whatever grades you have at school and whatever course you are studying, you can legit change the narrative on LinkedIn. So you can come on LinkedIn and decide that I don't want to be known as what I am currently doing in school. I want to be known as something way different, and pick that up on LinkedIn, which I think is very possible because I did it. I studied petroleum engineering, and my story on LinkedIn tells you that I love energy. My story on LinkedIn tells you I love energy. And we will say that let your LinkedIn profile tells the story of who you are and what you are interested in. So be very careful about how you pick your story and how you pick what you are interested in. I also like to say that there are many common mistakes that a lot of us make on LinkedIn. First of all, thinking that this background picture, as cliche as it may be, will go. So this my background picture is how to for students. As Anu rightly said, I am very passionate about students making as much from LinkedIn as they can, because I saw that there's a big gap for students and many students don't know how to maximize LinkedIn. So I started an article column, which I stopped because I started it because people were always coming to my DMs to ask me questions how to optimize LinkedIn, and I started writing articles and people were not reading the articles but still coming to my DMs. So I said, okay, you know what? I was just going to keep the how to brand, but I was going to keep it to my DM. So if anybody comes to my DM and asks, oh, I need to know how to do this, I'll teach them. But I will no longer write articles because articles are really tough to write and take a lot of research, and people don't want to read them anywhere. Attention span of my generation is not that long. So that is my story. The first thing to say about me is that, oh, she's interested in LinkedIn for students. Then there's a about column. My about column, I would like to say, is not the best because I am still in training. I'm still transitioning to who I fully want to be. And I also think that you don't have to come to your about column and write some cliche story. Like everybody knows that, oh, that you're a team player, and avoid those things. My about column is I am currently a student of Covenant University studying petroleum engineering and hope one day bringing positive change to the energy industry. That in its own tells you who I am and how I think. Tells you I'm an optimist. Tells you I'm passionate. Tells you I love the energy industry, and tells you that I'm still focused on school while doing it. And obviously, I have some featured articles that I put up here, and this is my dashboard, which only me can see. And these are my activities. Post on LinkedIn. And one thing a lot of students make, a mistake a lot of students make is that they think that that people don't read what you see. Like literally, there was an article, not like an article, a post I made last year, and then it just automatically blew up this year because I had already built the influence. So people are going back to see what I already did. Let people know how you think on certain matters. Comment and talk about it. It is not Instagram. It's not just about likes and comment, share your experiences and talk about things. So these are my experiences. All these experiences came from LinkedIn. Everyone. I got this job. Somebody saw my profile, this energy correspondent. I saw my profile and saw my writings and said that, oh, I want this girl to be on my team. And I worked there for 4 months, but I had to leave because the work was overwhelming at some point. And you also have to know your worth sometimes. I still work as Solar Genesis. And what we do is that we're trying to develop affordable, clean energy sources for homes. And obviously, I'm trying to find better. And I got this survey, which I think many of us should put towards on LinkedIn, and it afforded me opportunity to learn from mentors and other people on entrepreneurship in Africa. And I also got this on LinkedIn. So there are so many opportunities for students on LinkedIn, so many opportunities, so many fellowships, so many jobs, so many business programs on LinkedIn. So I would go to my talking points for today. I just wanted to show us my profile and use that to explain things a bit. So quickly to my talking points. I won't be speaking for very long because I have a cold and it's very difficult to talk right now. Okay, so I already talked about setting up our profile. I'm going to talk about the power of networking. So when I was applying for internships, that was when I learned that not all internship positions are advertised. Like not all job positions in general are advertised. Statistics show that only 20% of job positions are advertised. So whether you're a student that just finished and looking for a graduate internship, or you are in school looking for an undergraduate internship, a lot of those internship positions are not always advertised. we always say this man, no man thing. It's not like that, it's network. I only bring somebody that I have seen can do the work. People don't want to bring in just anybody to their team. And there are some job positions that are too sensitive to open up to everybody because anybody can lie about anything to finish your position. So there are people that are secretly looking out for you. And LinkedIn is a place to show who you are beyond your CV. I say that your LinkedIn profile and who you are on LinkedIn is literally you speaking about your work ethic and your volumes and who you are in volumes. Every job that is posted online typically has about 150 applicants. So that means you have about 150 people that are contending with every job too. Then 60 to 80% of jobs are found through personal contacts or networking. So 60 to 80% of jobs are found through personal contact. So if somebody has a new job that they need for you as a student, an internship, I'll focus more on internship because I want to speak to the student side of things. And you're looking for an undergraduate internship in that company. There are so many companies that you don't even know exist. Like there was a company that I got an internship for when I was looking for internship. I didn't even know they exist. I went to their office and they literally sent me they sent me my application. They sent me an invite. I didn't even apply. They sent me an invite through my LinkedIn profile, sent me their phone number and told me to come in on that date. Okay. So what exactly is networking? And in simplest terms, is the process of engaging others in helping you reach an objective. So peradventure, I am moving into the energy industry, which I am. Me networking means me talking to similar people in the energy industry and trying to learn, trying to build a relationship with them, professional relationship, because like I always say, LinkedIn is not a friendship site. We can make friends from LinkedIn, but the idea or the objective of LinkedIn is not to make friends. There are three words that we should look at when we talk about network, and that is the process. Network is something that doesn't happen casually, it doesn't happen overnight. There's a process you have to build it. There is engaging. You have to find something that catches the other person's attention. You probably want to talk to a CEO, or you want to talk to a CEO, or you want to talk to an event manager or a manager of a company, basically. That will mean engaging this person's attention. That means you have to bring something valuable to the table, because if I'm giving you my time, I have to know that my time is not getting wasted. Then an objective. You need to be clear about the purpose of that relationship. You don't want a situation where lines are being blurred out and then you have relationships that you don't like, or you now have a relationship that you're not too keen on. So I think I've spoken about networking, and I think I really want to encourage all of us. I'm a living testimony to how, if you take LinkedIn seriously, if you apply some of the principles that some other people will be talking about today, LinkedIn is such an amazing place with so many people who like ideas. It's a place to motivate yourself, but it can also be a place that can kill your vibe. I'm going to talk about imposter syndrome and this thing we call humble bragging. So basically it is people coming on LinkedIn and sharing their achievements. Oh, I'm only 22 years old and I have gotten this done, I've gotten that done. Oh, I'm 21, I have a PhD from this and that. And probably person is your age mate, and then you start feeling, am I good enough? And which is something that a lot of us on LinkedIn battle with. We most of us humble brag, or we come on and showcase. We're not with the intentions of making another person feel bad, but to also allow ourselves feel better because we feel less than. So which is something that LinkedIn or social media generally brings, and it's called imposter syndrome. So it is also a psychological pattern in which an individual doubts their skills, talents, accomplishments, and has a personalized internal fear of being exposed as a fraud. So basically, because a lot of people on LinkedIn try to give off this persona that they have their life in order, that everything is working out for them, that this and that and that, we have the unconscious or unconscious belief or turning to want to feel like we are not up to them. So a few months ago, I was really dealing with imposter syndrome, because then we're in lockdown. The internship I got, I couldn't work physically, so I was working from home, and I had a lot of time to surf on LinkedIn, and that meant me looking at other people's accomplishment during the lockdown, and me not seemingly thinking I had done enough. And I started feeling like, can I get these jobs? Or I was looking at applying for these jobs, and then I was looking at profiles of people that had gotten jobs, and I'm like, these guys will never take me, or feeling like this, or feeling like that, or feeling like that, or feeling like that. it's something that we can easily battle and we can easily begin to feel, because those are the things that LinkedIn brings, or those are the things that social media in general brings. I would give us an advice that everybody's on their own journey and everybody's on their own path. Don't allow another person's journey make you doubt or feel less about yours. LinkedIn is such an amazing place, and I want you to see everybody's achievement as a motivation to do more. If somebody is your age, instead of seeing that as a reason to pull yourself down, say, oh, this person has hit this barrier and I haven't, so okay, time for me to work harder because I can do it. This person should be the reason why I can do it. So I would say that as a student, or from my perspective, because I didn't really plan to talk, or I wanted to share my experience. And I would say that from my perspective, or from my experience, that LinkedIn has taught me amazing things. It has taught me how to interact with people and how to network. And I would say that there's an amazing space for so many students on LinkedIn. Don't allow imposter syndrome to make you feel like LinkedIn is not where you should be. Don't think because you haven't started working that amazing job yet that LinkedIn is not a place for you. LinkedIn is for everybody. Showcase your leadership skills, showcase everything that you can showcase, because you need to start making the network for the jobs you want now as soon as possible. So thank you all for having me. I think I'm done.
That was a very, very insightful session, and thank you for sharing your story and the growth you've experienced. So, without any further delay, we'll be having Mr. Jayola DJ share his own experience on LinkedIn and how LinkedIn has helped him, and how LinkedIn can be used in getting and securing that dream job that you've always wanted to get. Mr. Jayola.
Good afternoon. I know I'm loud and clear.
We can hear you.
All right, great. So good afternoon, everybody. Like Tosin did, I will try and be very brief so that Keith can have all the time that she needs, because she has a very detailed presentation. I must assume that. My name is Jayola Ayodeji David, and I run a recruitment startup called Walker Consulting Services. We've been helping graduates and candidates who find it hard to get a job. Let me use that word. The thing about LinkedIn usage is people tend to underrate it, as if it doesn't have so much or so much effect on their career. I tested in 2018, right? And the result of that test was pretty impressive because it gave us live, data that we can work with. I did a small boot camp for a set of people, graduates. They came to me and said they were looking for roles, they were looking for jobs. And I'm like, okay, I'll see what I can do. You need to, qualify for some kind of job that I post before you can apply for it. So I said, let's do a separate search. Let us make you look for what you are fit to do. So I gave them some tasks. I said, do a video CV, and a couple of them did and posted it on LinkedIn, right? So many of those videos got the attention of people. One in particular caught the interest of so many people. The lady has been looking for a job for over 2 years, and she wanted to work in the state where she was currently residing, and she had an industry, where she wanted. So she didn't just want any kind of job. So we did that test and we ran it through. She got several offers to help her with CVs, to help her with interview tips, to help her with openings. Some of her other jobs in Lagos, she rejected them. Eventually, after I think 3 to 4 weeks, she got a job where she wanted, in the industry she wanted, and in the location she wanted. Now, this just shows you that there is a bigger impact that LinkedIn will have on your career as a graduate or as somebody looking to change jobs than other social media. Of course, it can go viral on Twitter, Instagram, and everybody is, throwing you left and right and center, and it's fun. But you get the opportunities on Twitter. So one more. I think in December, there was a video that I shared about Yanolu Adiola. I saw it on Twitter. So I brought it to LinkedIn. Now, somebody was saying on Twitter, oh, Twitter will get this girl a job. Now, I left and came back in 5 hours. Somebody already offered her a job on LinkedIn. I didn't even know because I just posted to see how I can help the girl. And she already has offers. I know she has more than 3 offers because some still sent me offers, say, oh, could you offer this to her? We have an opening here. Could you push this to her? And I told them, she's not even in Abuja. She's in Lagos and she wants to stay in Lagos. So there are opportunities if you can use your time effectively on LinkedIn. There are 2 points I'll discuss about active engagement and optimization. So many people have accounts, right, on LinkedIn, but they don't engage people actively in the sense that what they do basically is run the account, but we don't see them. They are not visible on the platform because they do not use that platform effectively. So if you want to use LinkedIn effectively for your career move to get that job, you have to be very active. The active engagement, like Tosin said, is commenting, posting, engaging, joining groups, writing article, putting content out there that people can relate to. And I tell guys, you need to have created a niche for yourself, to make sure whatever you are putting out there is meeting the right audience. In my book, I wrote 4 steps. I say you need to find your voice, which is your content, what you are comfortable with. There are some things you will call me today and say, oh, come and speak about. I wouldn't even need to write so much down. I will speak for like an hour or 2 because it's there. Those kind of things that you are comfortable with, you can put out content without having to do so much work. There's always work to be done, but you wouldn't need to do so much because it's a comfortable spot, right? If it's music, that's your spot. If it's career, that's your spot. If it's food, if it's tech, if it's data analysis, everybody has a spot that they are very comfortable. They have a base in that particular spot and they can be authorities in that space. Everyone has something that they can be called an authority in. That is the voice you need to be able to excel on LinkedIn, to be able to use LinkedIn to the most effective point, right? The way the algorithm is built, when you consistently talk about a particular topic, whenever that topic is being, pushed, you are going to show up. Whenever people are looking for discussion around that topic, you will show up. You see, I got several calls in. I think 2019 was that year that I really, really maximized the use of my LinkedIn. I got several offers from people, even though I wasn't looking. They kept on offering. They say, oh, do you want to join our team? We are doing this. So I took up a lot of consulting roles, a lot of gigs, on LinkedIn because I was in everybody's face. To a point where someone said, that LinkedIn guy. So when they see my photo on an event, because I was on a lot of events, I was speaking and, doing a lot of virtual sessions, doing trainings and all. They say, oh, that LinkedIn guy. Because I had a post that had gone viral like a few months before all the training and they kept on coming back. So you see, LinkedIn has a way of returning that favor when you are actively engaging people. Now, I said you find your voice. That's your content. Your voice or your content will lead you to your audience. Your audience are the people that keeps coming back to you every time you post. At the beginning, you might post and not get so much engagement from people because they don't really know you. But over time, people will start engaging with your post. It means you are being seen by a lot of people. I see that Tosin was excited or is excited that she's at 4,000, which is a laudable thing to do. Active ones at that, because I see Tosin's post regularly. You see, I tell people to also do that. Increase your connections, right? That is your audience. You have to find a way to increase. LinkedIn is a networking platform. I meet you, you meet me, we interact, we have common interest, we discuss, we do phone calls, we get interviews, we get business gigs, we get contracts, we start a business, we have partners, we find them on LinkedIn. I'm a recruiter, I head recruitment in my firm, and I look for candidates. I post jobs on LinkedIn and they come to me. This is because I've built the audience over time. I can't share my profile. If you check, you see I'm at 48,000 plus, thereabouts. When I was writing my book last year, I was around 30,000. It kept on increasing. This is me being active from, say, 2019, and that's the amount of growth that has happened in that space. People follow, I connect to ensure that I can reach a wider audience. It's important that you can reach a lot more people, right? I've met investors on LinkedIn. I've met employers. I've met people that have given jobs. I've met friends. People have become a part of my world, a part of my work because of the usage of the platform. So you find your audience because your voice is something they can relate to. It's like a preacher or a speaker. If you're talking about something that people can relate to, they try to listen to you at that point, and then they go after that particular speaking event, they go and look for more content that you have put out there so they can fully understand and fully take in what you are trying to pass on, which is very key. Stick to your message and your audience will find you. Now, when you get your audience, right, what you need to now do is maximize that point, which is how you will be found, which is how the goal that you set in mind when you join the platform will become a reality. So for a fresh graduate or for somebody, so there was a woman I met at a speaking event I went for. So she told the audience to listen to me because she saw on the flyer that I was going to talk about LinkedIn optimization. She said, listen to this man, because whatever he would tell you, I have done it and it worked perfectly, right? She was looking to switch jobs at some point, high level job, multinational. I think it was for one of these United Nations parastatals. And she became very active on LinkedIn, followed the right set of people, and started putting out projects that she's done, content about skill set. You see, talking about your skill set, talking about your abilities, talking about your area of strength on LinkedIn is a way to attract the right set of people. People don't understand. It's not bragging. It's you upselling yourself. LinkedIn is a pitching platform. People pitch themselves on a daily basis, right? And they get found by people who are interested in the kind of skill set that they have, or in the abilities that they portray, or in the services that they offer. You see, when you do that, I don't even call it humble bragging. It's not even bragging. It's just you telling the world that this is what you can do, and whoever can pay for your services will find you. It's a marketplace. See, a networking site, a marketplace, a pitching platform. LinkedIn is so many things to so many people. Brands have, used my firm for some marketing gig that they wanted to do because I pitched it to them. I told them, okay, we have this reach. We can get you this amount of reach. We have done it before. I personally have struck 1 million views on more than one occasion. I'm like, okay, well, we can do that. If your product is something that people can actually relate to, we can push it and get people to sign up for you. So you see, they come to you because there's value to be added. So at the end of the day, the instrumental thing or the key thing is value addition. What are you bringing to the table as a person? See, voice found, audience found, influence maximized, value added. After you do all those things, results will come, and results can come in several forms. If you're a business, you get more clients. If you do services, you get more patronage. If you are a candidate, you get offers, right? If you're an employer, you get the right candidate. You see, I can reach out. So whenever right, they will come through and they will send right applicants to me. It's something that has happened over and over and over again. It's not a one-off. And this is because it has been tested over time. I have ensured that I use the platform optimally. So a few things people need to consider. Your profile picture, very key. I'm going to ask somebody right now on LinkedIn, I'll share it with you guys, about how many times you've seen people's profile picture and then you accepted their request because of the profile picture. You don't know the person, but you saw a very good profile picture. Beautiful picture, great background, quiet, professional. You like the idea of what that portrays, and then you accept that request just because of that. That is part of the optimization I'm talking about. I said active engagement and optimization, and I've discussed active engagement. I'm briefly going to talk about optimization. Your headlines, your headline is right there. It is that thing I see first when I check your profile. If you check mine, you will see product manager, recruitment, and marketing expert. That's what I do. And that is what you will find. I just tell you straight in 3 to 4 words exactly what I do. And then you can go through my profile in totality and then see everything I've said. Then that takes me to the profile itself, that brief summary about you. Write something very, smart, something that people can actually understand when they read it. Next will be your work experience and education. I tell guys, you need to take that very serious. Work experience, education, it's there. It's in the profile. You can just look at them and fill it up and make that your profile look well optimized. Now, a lot of you don't take it serious. And then your page looks like you don't do anything, and I would just walk away because you've not said anything to me. You just left it blank. One more other thing is your header. So there's a space for that. You can only edit your header via a system. If you don't have a system, you can't do it on the phone yet. They haven't allowed that. So you can use a system. Use Canva, build a very good header and put it there. Make your LinkedIn page look presentable. It is your CV and cover letter online. Let me use that word. I can look at your CV and cover letter, and if I check your LinkedIn, it will reflect almost the same thing. So sometimes I just go and check your LinkedIn page to see whatever I need to see about you. So I might not even need to look at your CV to give you a job. I might just call you for an interview because your page already spoke to me. It is called the first impression. When I see that thing your page says, I understand what it means. I see the value you are adding, and I see the impact you can give to my business or my company. I call you. I say, do you want to have a chat? Because I like what I see, right? And that is how I get called. Somebody sends me a message on LinkedIn, or they just call me and say, oh, they saw my number and they read my profile. And once they say that, I know, okay, I know where you're coming from. And then we discuss. So it's something that is consistent. So I'm imploring you to take a few months and use LinkedIn actively. Remember my words: active engagement, optimization, and you will see optimal results from your LinkedIn, because it's the best place when it comes to building a career, when it comes to getting a job, when it comes to getting a dream job, actually, also. LinkedIn does work faster, better, and a bit more efficient than every other social platform or job board can do for you. So take it serious. Make it an essential part of your daily lives. You see, I'm sure you've been told getting a job is a job itself. Well, let me redefine that. Getting a job is being active on LinkedIn. You will thank me later for this if you do exactly as I've just said. I won't say more than this, because the whole of today is about LinkedIn optimization. So I will let Kate Hoffman do justice to the remaining part of it, because she has a lot in store. So I don't want to let all the cat out of the bag before then. So I'll just rest at this point and I'll say thank you to StepUp community for putting this together. Thank you, Tosin, for speaking, and thank you already, Kate, for what you're going to deliver to the audience. It's a pleasure joining everyone and giving my bit of LinkedIn optimization. Anu, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. J. Thank you for that wonderful breakdown and for sharing your experience of how LinkedIn has assisted many people in getting their dream jobs. So, without delaying any further, we'll be going to the LinkedIn optimization workshop, and afterwards, we're having the Q&A session. So, Kit, over to you.
Thank you so much for that introduction. I am super, super excited to be sharing this all with you today. So without further ado, I will just switch over to the presentation and we can get started on how to optimize your LinkedIn profile and harness the power of LinkedIn. All right, so I first wanted to introduce myself. My name is Kit Huffman, and you can see from these pictures that I typically do not wear these glasses, so I wanted to just give a little hello without these glasses. I will be wearing these glasses throughout the presentation though, because I wear them so they don't strain my eyes when I'm on the computer. So a little bit about me, I am a social media strategist. So a social media strategist is someone that helps build strategy for social media and really helps align brands and people to their ultimate goal on what they want to do on social media, where that's maybe getting a new client, if that's building a brand, or if it's even building their connections. Personally, I am an alpine enthusiast. I'm coming to you today from Jackson Hole, Wyoming, which is a mountain town in the Rockies. I love mountain climbing, I love hiking, and I love backpacking in the alpine environments. I'm also an amateur photographer. So I'm someone that likes to play around with film photography and digital photography. I think it's just a very exciting and introspective way to share our world and environment with other people. And then a little bit about my professional education. So I attended a top 10 business school, Indiana University in the United States. And that is where I got a lot of my education and introduction into social media. So with my business school, and then also personally, I've taken a total of 8 courses with social media, and then some 3 specifically just with LinkedIn. So I'm super excited to be sharing all my knowledge and experience with you, and hopefully you can find something valuable. I would also like to just give a little disclaimer with this presentation is that I will be using my profile as an example. And this isn't to be like, wow, like my profile is the best profile on LinkedIn, because there's always room for improvement, especially on social media. But I just have done over 50 LinkedIn audits before. So I have seen a lot of the good, really great things that people have done, and then some of the things that there are room for improvement. So I've been able to put that onto my profile. And just for security and sensitivity reasons, I didn't want to show somebody else's profile because that could be a somewhat invasion of privacy. So I'm just using myself as an example because I am perfectly okay with using what I've learned to share with you all. So let's break it down. So what even is LinkedIn? LinkedIn is a place for professional success. You can share, I just got a new job, or I'm looking for an internship, or I just did really well on this exam or test. You can also talk about your failures. And that's something that I think a lot of people are a little bit nervous to share on LinkedIn. You can share like, this didn't work out for me and this is why, or a growing experience. And that can really help captivate and capture your audience a little bit better, because a lot of people can relate to failure. You can also talk about lessons learned. So I did this, so kind of talking about the failures again, and it led to this. And so I learned this. So now next time I won't be doing that. You can also talk about something that you found interesting. So if you read an article that you really liked, or if you saw a video that you found a lot of value and interest in, someone in your community will probably find that very interesting too on LinkedIn, and you can make sure to share that with them. So let's break down what LinkedIn is and then what LinkedIn isn't. So LinkedIn, this is an example of showing some great insight, advice, something that somebody found valuable. However, it's not talking about your crazy party nights. This is not something professional, and this is not what the platform is for. So LinkedIn is really about growing your community, your network, and also about yourself personally and professionally. It's about finding jobs and making those connections, or other projects that you could be working on. And you can all do that through your network that you have on LinkedIn. So let's jump into the profile optimization part of this presentation. So the profile optimization is broken into several parts: your profile image, your name, the headline, background image, and current position. So these are the different elements or the different parts of what I just talked about. So your profile image is that circle in the corner. Your name is right under your profile image. Then your headline is right under your name. Fourth is the background image, which is that banner in the back. And then your current position is your current job. So what makes a great profile image? A great profile image is both strong and a professional image. It has no clutter in the background or any other distractions, and your face is in the center. So something that makes a strong and professional profile image, it wouldn't be, so this first one on the left side, while it is a good image, I'm wearing sunglasses, and that can have a little bit of a disconnect between you and your audience because there is blocking. People want to see your eyes. They want to be able to connect. And because there is that inherent disconnect on social media, you want to make sure that your profile image is as inviting as it can be. The one on the right, while it's a really great image too, it shows that I'm outside. It shows that I'm in the exploring the alpine, which is something that I like to do. However, it's not very professional. If I was a professional mountain guide, this would be a very appropriate image. However, I'm a social media strategist, so this doesn't really work for what I'm trying to achieve on LinkedIn. There's also no clutter or distractions in the background. So something that could be clutter or distractions would be lighting. So the first one on the left, well, this is a great image. My face is right there. There's some weird lighting kind of going on. You can see the lights in the background from the city. And then on my face, there's a few shadows. So that can be a little bit distracting from really getting to see my face and getting to know me. Similarly, on the right image, you can see a hand is on my shoulder, and that takes your attention from my face to the hand initially. And then also the background, there's some kind of things going on in the background, so you're not as giving that attention to me, as well as the shadows on the face again. And then the face in the center. So the left image is my actual current profile image on my LinkedIn. However, I just shifted it over so you could see what it looks like if it's not centered. Your brain just kind of starts to think, oh, like something's a little like not right there. Like it doesn't look right. I want it to be centered. And your brain is wanting to center it. Because as humans, we like things to be aligned. We like things to be in a little box and squared. And so when things aren't, we're subconsciously thinking like, oh, like if it was just moved over. And so it's distracting you from really getting into looking at my profile, getting to know me and building connections there. And then moving over to the last image on the right side, this is a really great image of me too, hiking in the mountains. However, it's really far away. So you want to make sure that your profile image is kind of up around your chest area, getting your shoulders and then coming up. If it's too far away, you can't really get to know the person because they're just so far back. And now you might be thinking, how do I take a professional headshot at home? Like we don't always have access to a professional that can just come and be our paparazzi for the day. So you can easily do a professional headshot with your phone camera. You want to make sure that you have a nice background, so something that's plain and simple or just distraction free. And then you want to consider what you're wearing. So you want to make sure that you're not wearing a word shirt, so something that where the words would be cut off on top, or something that'd be just a really distracting pattern or kind of cliche, or not cliche, clashing, that I'll rephrase that. And then you want to make sure that you have natural and or even lighting. So right now I'm just using a lamp, I guess for this presentation, a lamp, and I put a little piece of paper over it. So it's kind of blocking it a little bit better. I don't have any fancy equipment right now or anything like that. So you can get really great lighting or just go outside. The best hours to take a photo are actually 1 hour after sunrise or 1 hour before sunset. You get that nice golden hour lighting and it comes across a lot more even than if you were using the harsh middle of the day lighting that's casting shadows down on you. Now I'm going to be talking about the name. And so this is really important to consider. Who do people know me as? And so this is specifically with me. So my real name is Catherine, but a lot of people don't know me as Catherine. My professors at school didn't know me as Catherine. When I introduced myself to recruiters, they didn't know me as Catherine. And my friends don't even know me as Catherine. So if I'm going to be putting my full name on LinkedIn, I would do Catherine in parentheses Kit Huffman, because that makes sure that your name will come up if they were to put Kit Huffman instead of Catherine Huffman. And same thing with your surname or your maiden name. So if you had changed your last name, you want to make sure that you are using the last name that people know you as professionally or personally, so that if they were to look you up, they could find you. So same kind of idea. You could do Kit Smith. And if I changed my name from Kit Huffman to Kit Smith, I'd want to put Kit Smith if people know me more as Kit Smith rather than Kit Huffman, if that makes sense. Now we're going to be talking about the headline. So the headline is that part I said right under your name. And it serves as kind of an advertising piece on who you are. You have a little bit of a blurb kind of showing who you are, like what you do, the keywords, emojis, and a call to action. And these are all specific things that you want to use and include on your profile to really draw attention and advertise who you are. Because the headline will not only come up on your profile whenever you like or comment on a post or an article or a video on LinkedIn. It'll be your name and then right next to it, your headline. So you want it to be almost a great advertising piece for who you are, so it can draw a little interest if somebody notices you on LinkedIn. And you can see these, also capitalization. You can see these different, let me go back there, these different parts on the LinkedIn optimization. So what you do, I say cultivating engaged online communities. So that's what I do. And I describe that a little bit different than social media strategists, because not a lot of people would know what that is or that specific job, but I go in and say why you would want that. So I'm cultivating engaged online communities. And then I go into keywords. So if someone were to be searching on the top search bar on LinkedIn and or on Sales Navigator, which is a extension of LinkedIn that a lot of recruiters tend to use, you want to make sure you include keywords. So keywords for me specifically within my industry is social media management and social media strategy, which I include after the line break that I have down, so that will show up as somebody is looking for something that my services offer. I also include emojis in it, such as this one and the woman on the keyboard, to really draw attention to the first part in my headline. It makes it stand out a little bit better when you are on LinkedIn and you just see it next to somebody's name. And then also I put the emojis next to my call to action. And so I'll just jump into my call to action as DM for a free LinkedIn audit. And I really want that to stand out on my headline. So if somebody's just like, oh, it's a lot of words, but then they see those emojis at the end, they're like, oh, that's the call to action. And that is the one action I want people to be taking if they were to go into my profile. And lastly, I also use capitalization, which is capitalizing the first word of the first letter of every word. And so that just makes it a lot easier to read and a lot smoother to read. And that just able to capture capture people to read and retain your user a lot longer. So now we're going to be talking about the background image. So the background image is a really great way to show who you are. Like if you are a professional or a small business owner, you want to be showing what you do professionally and then define what you do on your page and your services. And then you want to also make sure to include a call to action if you're using that on your profile. So for example, professionally, I said LinkedIn community, daily social media tips and tricks. And then defining the page is they can expect to see daily social media tips and tricks. And then lastly, the call to action is DM for a free LinkedIn audit. So once again, that's the same call to action that I used in my headline. And you want to make sure that you are using the same call to action throughout your entire profile at the same time. You can make sure you can go back and change it if you would like, but you want to make sure at the same time you just have that one action that you want somebody to take if they come on your profile. But maybe that you're not a professional, or you're not someone that is looking to have professional services you're selling online, or you're not someone that is in a startup or small business and you're just trying to look for another job. So these are some other options that you can use for your background image, such as showing an activity. So something that you really like to do. So this is a picture of when I was skiing and I just snapped that picture, or a skill that you have. So this is a picture of, of my photography skills, you could say, and a place that you've been. So this is in Grand Teton National Park, which is really close to my home here in Jackson, Wyoming. And all of these serve as a way that you could have a conversation starter, so that if somebody does come on your page and they're like, messaging you, I really like what you do. Also, I see that you ski, or I see that you've been to Grand Teton National Park, or that's a really great photo. Where is that? Or are you into photography? And it can kind of start to build a conversation and get to know so the recruiter or somebody else can get to know you a little bit better, and that you can start a more organic conversation with that person rather than just having it be strictly professional. Now I'm going to talk about the current position. So this is my current position. I own my own small business. So I just have Kit Huffman LLC, and that just is shown up in the top or right-hand corner of your profile. And you want to make sure that it's just up to date. So if you switch jobs, or if you moved jobs or taking time off from a job, you want to make sure that that is updated. And you can do that by going all the way to the bottom of your profile and just making sure that the dates that you're working for that company are reflected accurately. So then it'll show up on your profile as like if you're currently working at that job or not. And you just want to make sure that you're doing that so it's the most up to date, so that if somebody were to reach out, they know kind of what you're currently up to. Now, this is my absolutely favorite part of the LinkedIn profile, the About section, because this is really where you get to show who you are and your values. And that's where I really think that this LinkedIn, especially this platform, really shows kind of a more holistic part of you as a person. So you want to share your story. So this is how I'm going to break it down into different parts. So one, you're going to have a catchy intro. And don't worry if I'm going fast through this right now. We'll be breaking it down bit by bit. Your story and values, spacing between lines, utilizing fonts, a call to action, specializations, and specializations. So I guess that's just it. So I'll hop into what makes a catchy intro. So I've looked at, like I said, over 50 LinkedIn profiles. And you really want that first bit of the about section to really catch your attention, because that will tell you if you're going to keep reading. If it's not catchy and it's just boring, just skip right over it. We'll just skim down and see what else is on the profile. So I start mine off by saying hi, hello, and howdy, because I'm from Wyoming and it's a kind of cowboy state. My name is Kit. Yes, like the Kit Kat bar, the car from Knight Rider, and Famous American Cowboy, which are all things that I get a lot in the US from, oh, like your name is Kit, like this or different examples. So that's just how I kind of cleverly did my intro, because people are probably already thinking that when they hear my name. And then you want to share your stories and values. So this is something that I learned specifically from my top 10 business school. We did recruiting courses where you would go over your value and who you are. So specifically for me, I'm not originally from Wyoming. I'm originally from Michigan, which is another state in the United States. And I come from a very, very small town there. So to me, community has been a large part of my life and growing up. And so I do have that a large part in my business, and then also who I am as a person. So I do want to show that and showcase that, because it does show my values. And I know that if I show my values, there can be some other people that connect with those values too. So specifically, my recruiting quote story is I come from a small town in Michigan, population 932, kind of small town. To me, community is everything. It's walking down the street and waving to Dr. Marks through his window. It's having my high school English teacher as my parents' best friend. It's having my dentist as my next door neighbor. So it's really going into stating community is everything is kind of my theme, but then breaking it down by showing little examples through a story, because people really are captivated through stories and they love reading stories and following along with the story. But then it also like goes into kind of prove that community is a big thing in my life and that I can see that and show that. Now I'm going to be talking about the spacing between lines. So this is a thing that I see a lot of people making a very simple mistake about. So someone will write a very beautiful blog post or a post even on LinkedIn or even in their about section, but they write it how you would write a normal paper. They just write it without doing spaces or kind of tabbing down like you would be writing a paper. And while that is grammatically correct, it makes it hard for the reader to want to keep reading your piece. So when I work with my clients and also myself, my rule of thumb is you only have 1 to 2 sentences max per line, and then you space down after that. So I just have, there's comfort and familiarity in this. Then return. Online community should be no different. Return. There should be, and then going into 2 sentences there or 2 lines. So even if it's not 2 full sentences, if it takes up more than 2 lines, you want to break that up to a little bit. So while this one, the third sentence there is 3 sentences, it doesn't take up more than 2 lines. So I didn't feel the need to space that out more, if that makes sense. Now I'm going to be going into utilizing fonts. So you can use, it's a free website online called Font Keyboard, and you can use a ton of different fonts, and you just type in the text that you want to use, and then you can select different fonts and you can copy and then paste that into LinkedIn posts, articles, your about section. And this just really makes it pop out a little bit more. So if we were to go back to this full about section, you can kind of see midway down that there's that font slant. And that can maybe, if you're not reading all the way through, you're like, oh, this is kind of boring, but you're kind of scrolling through the about section anyway, that will grab your attention. And that is the exact attention that I want somebody to grab and know about me. So it says, this means my approach to social media is a bit different. So if you weren't following along that whole time and you read that, you're like, whoa, why is that approach different? What makes it different? And you're going to go up and read, and then read that, and then read the rest of it to figure it out. So that's a really great way if you want to retain your audience, really use that utilizing fonts, but use it very sparingly. If you use too much of it, people just skip right through because it looks like just the normal text. So just want to make sure you're using it for the one piece of impact you really want to capture. And now you're going to be doing the call to action. So once again, I said at the end of this, it says, and or ask for a free 5-minute 5 action item LinkedIn audit. So that's the same call to action I've been using throughout my profile. So on the background image and then also on the headline, I want to keep that the same. But then I also, again, just say, feel free to reach out and say hi and or ask questions. And then going into my real true call to action. And so if you are a student or if you're someone that's recruiting, you could say, please feel free to reach out, love to connect, or feel free to follow me for tips on management and strategy, anything like that. So what your one action is you want somebody to take on their profile, connecting with you, messaging you, or following along. And now you want to make sure that you're also having the specializations. So once again, how I said that recruiters or somebody, if they're looking or searching on the LinkedIn search bar and or on the extension of LinkedIn on Sales Navigator, which a lot of recruiters, like I said, use, you want to make sure that your profile has more of these keywords. So we use keywords not only in the headline, but now we're going to be using it in the about section too. So I make sure to expand on more of the keywords that I want to use. So like LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, social media marketing, social media strategy, and then acronyms. So any industry jargon you want to use, that somebody that if they were to be looking that up could find you and get to know exactly what you're doing, even if they're not using the specific terms that you call yourself by, you want to make sure you have that in there so that your profile will have a higher chance of turning up, if that makes sense. And now we're going to be jumping into the experience section, which is a very, very important part of your profile as well. So you want to make sure that your experience is unique. So this is an example of when I worked at my college's coffee shop as a barista, and I was also a supervisor there too. And you want to just make sure that it is a unique experience. So while inherently being a barista at a coffee shop is not a very skilled or a hard job in a lot of ways to do compared to industrial engineering or something along those lines, you can make sure that you can capture the specific things that you did that truly made an impact. And that is a lot, it's a lot more, I guess, influential that you can show specific tasks you took, because everyone kind of knows a barista just serves coffee, but there's a lot more to that job than just serving coffee. So these are the different parts we're going to be talking about today. Your position, the definition of the company, or like the little heading about the company, and then your action, your bullet point action items. So first I'm going to be talking about the position. So you want to make it a relevant title. So for example, my true title for that job was student supervisor, and I was just supervising the students on the shift. And I didn't want to put in student supervisor. So while this is, I guess, incorrect in some ways, it is correct because I was a supervisor. And so that if somebody is looking on my profile and they just want to know, does this person have relevant skills to what I'm looking for? If I'm looking for a new manager, a new supervisor, do they have it? And if you were to put in student supervisor or student helper, it might be a little confusing because my tasks were a supervisor's tasks, but they just at my job called it something different. So to make it the most clear and most relevant to what I want to be doing, I just took off the student part and just put supervisor. And that is not wrong by any means. It's not lying. It's not cheating. It's making it the most relevant to what you want to do and making it easier for everyone to understand where your skills are at with your job. And that's what I'm saying. It's okay to change the title with all of that. Now we're going to be moving into the definition kind of the company. So if you're not familiar with the company Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, a lot of people are not, you can go in and you want to write a 1 to 2 sentence kind of summary about who they are and what what they're serving. So you want to go into the what, where, why, and how. So my, I guess, experience summary is Southern California-based coffee and tea company providing guests with signature custom-made drinks. Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf seeks to provide quality products in a fast-paced environment. So the what is a Southern coffee and tea company. Where is Southern California-based? Why is they seek to provide quality products in a fast-paced environment? And how is they're providing guests with signature custom-made drinks? Now we're going to be going into the action bullet points, which is my favorite part. This is something I learned in my business school and has really helped me. I put this, use this strategy on my resume as well and on LinkedIn. So you want to make sure that you have, and starting it with an action verb and something that is actionable, that is more than just helped or cleaned or assisted, something that is very actionable and very driven. So maintain, report, and brought. Those are very direct actions that were taken. And then you want to make sure that it's in the past or present tense. So this first one, I wrote it as maintain stable and fun work environment. So it's currently happening. So I'm currently doing this. Report, so something that I'm currently doing, and then brought, which is in the past tense. And you want to be specific on your numbers too. So these are all specific examples. So like I said, you don't have to say, oh, I was a barista, so I made coffee drinks for people and I cleaned the concepts. You want to say specific events that happen. So as a supervisor, I maintain stable and fun work environments for the 4 employees, so specific number, and nearly 400 guests per shift. And you want to make sure that you're getting into the specifics of the number so that if somebody were to come on your profile, specifically a recruiter, they can kind of know what responsibilities you've already had and at what scale. So that it shows that I was a supervisor for 4 employees. So that means that I've had experience working and directing 4 employees already. And then I'm also maintaining a very big environment with a lot of customers. So nearly 400 guests per shift is about 100 guests an hour. And that's a huge number. So to know that my experience is I can not only manage 4 employees, but I can also manage those 4 employees working with 100 guests an hour. That shows a lot more than just maintain stable and fun work environment, because that just doesn't show exactly what you're capable of. And then you want to have, once again, those unique attributes. So a unique attribute as a supervisor is just making sure everyone shows up on time, making sure things are clean. But then I go in and say brought 2 personal, so again, the specific numbers, and 3 employees, so another specific number, ideas to upper management to implement within the concept. So that's a specific story or thing that I brought forward. And that was how it shows that I have specific unique attributes just beyond the normal supervisor tasks that you would assume that I would be doing as a barista. Now we're going to be moving into the skills and endorsements and recommendations, which is another very, very important part. So this is the skills and endorsements part. It's towards the bottom of your LinkedIn profile. And you want to make sure that you're showing it shows just the first 3. So you want to make sure that those first 3 are relevant skills. So for me specifically, because I work in social media strategy, and then also team leadership, and then innovative management, because I want that all to be kind of brought into my business, and that's relevant to what I'm doing as a business owner as well. And then you want to make sure that you're asking people for endorsements. So while you can have those those skills on there, you want to ask people for endorsements. So that can be, we'll get into that, I guess, in the next part. And then you also want to make sure that you're rotating them out. So as you get more endorsements, you want to make sure that if some have a lot more than others, you want to make sure you rotate them out. So you can choose which ones are on your profile, and then you can make sure that those other skills are getting the same kind of attention and endorsements. And then there's also you can see on the left-hand side here, you can say, it says take skill quiz. And LinkedIn has a really great feature where you can actually test your own skills and then show and have proof that you know what you're talking about. And they have it with about over 100 different tests you can take, such as Adobe products or Google products or other specific skills. So you can really show that you do know what you're talking about if you were to say that with your skills that you currently have, and you get a little certificate saying that you passed that test and that you do have those skills indeed. So this is just a fake kind of recommendation that I had. And you, again, with the skill, the endorsements, and then also the recommendations, you can get those from old bosses or managers. You can get them from your classmates. You can get them from professors or clients if you're working as a small business. And these recommendations are really great to have because it has social proof that you do know what you're talking about from real people. And this really goes to show and like give that extra little boost of confidence that you know what you're talking about, that there's people that do trust you, and that they can maybe reach out to somebody if they have different questions. And you can just feel free to reach out. So if you're currently working at a place, just reach out to some coworkers and say, hey, just posted these skills on LinkedIn. Would you mind endorsing me on this one, and this one? Or if you go to your old boss, it's maybe when you're switching jobs or you're finishing an internship, say, hey, I loved working with you. If you wouldn't mind taking 5 minutes to write a small recommendation for me on LinkedIn, I would really appreciate that. And that's just how you can kind of start building that section of your profile. You can also do this with other people that you've met on LinkedIn too. So if you have been working with somebody or you communicate frequently with somebody, like maybe your LinkedIn friend or something like that, and you know that they have skills in social media or you know they have skills in blogging because you see that them post all the time, you can go in and endorse them on that and then maybe write a recommendation. Be like, I've been following this person along for so long. They write really great articles. They're very professional, would highly recommend something along those lines, because you want to be giving to your community as well as taking from your community. So now that we have the profile set, what are we going to do now? What's next? So now you're going to be wanting to be posting and engaging on your LinkedIn. So the big part of social media is being social. So now that you have the profile set, you have your public image set for everyone, you want people to now find you and see you and interact with you. And the big part of posting, the big lesson that you have to remember is consistency is key. So that would mean whatever that you can do to post on LinkedIn and be active consistently. So it's easy right now to be like, oh, I'm so excited about LinkedIn, I'm going to be posting every day. But if you're thinking, okay, a month from now, am I going to be able to post every day? Is that a responsibility I want to have to be posting every day? So maybe that's not. So maybe you're like, okay, I really like LinkedIn, I want to engage. I'm going to be on here, let's say 3 to 5 times a week. And that's a really still consistent number to keep. Or maybe you're thinking, oh, I really do like LinkedIn. I'm really busy at work. I really do want to engage in this platform because I find value in it. But I only have time to really post weekly. So then you're just going to commit to 1 post a week. And that is perfectly fine wherever you are, just whatever you can keep on a consistent basis, because consistency really plays into the algorithm of a lot of social medias. And it shows your audience that you are there and you're committed. Because if you see a lot of posts for a week, you're like, oh, wow, this person is really here. They're showing up. But then you don't hear anything for 2 weeks. You're kind of like, oh, where'd they go? They're not here anymore. I missed them. Okay, maybe unfollow. They're not doing LinkedIn anymore. And then another thing you have to keep in mind is it can be a little bit intimidating to be posting on social media. You're maybe nervous about your friends or what other strangers on the internet will think. But you have to remember that no one really cares that much. People can be excited about your content, but no one really cares as much as you are thinking that people will, if that's something that's holding you back. So I had one of my mentors explain it to me where he was telling me that the majority of people that are scrolling Instagram, Facebook, or any like LinkedIn, they're probably at a stoplight in their car or sitting on the toilet. They're just scrolling super fast. And that's something you have to keep in mind. While your content may be valuable and you're excited about, if it's holding you back from posting it, you have to think that a lot of those people are just scrolling really fast and they're seeing a lot of stuff. So no one is putting that much thought into your posts. As great as they are, they're not thinking as deep and as self-conscious as you are probably making it out to be. And then you want to make sure that you're considering that you're sharing what you're an expert in. And I did expert in quotes because I think it's really hard for people to say, oh, I'm an expert in social media, or I'm an expert in blog posts, or I'm an expert in whatever that you think you're an expert in. Because it's kind of it's a very strong word to say you're an expert. That means you are the top of the top. And it doesn't really matter if you are the top of the top. It just has to be, do I have skills that are slightly above somebody else? So for me, when I think I probably am not the best social media person out there, but I know I have years of experience with social media. And so if I can find someone that has skills that are just 2 steps below me, I can help bring them up to my level. Or if I see someone that's a little bit below me, I can, bring those skills up with them and give them value. And that's an incredible amount of value that I can bring to somebody at a digestible level. So if I'm up here and you're down here with skills, that's a large gap. I have to teach you a lot of things. And so it's hard to work with the top of the top professional if you're starting at ground zero. But if you are a level 2 kind of step up there professional, there's not that big gap that you have to fill. And you can really help pull those people up and get them into it and working with them a lot better and a lot more effectively, where it's not overwhelming for both people. And then you also want to consider when you are posting consistently, you found what you're an expert in, and you are interacting. You have to make sure that you're interacting, I guess is what I'm trying to say. If you just put things out there, you can't expect to get anything back if you don't put out there too. So you want to make sure that you are engaging. And so what does engagement truly look like? It looks like giving other people likes or reactions to their posts if you found it interesting or exciting or insightful. You want to make sure that you're writing comments. So if you found something like, wow, I truly connected with that, that was really, really great. You want to make sure that you are writing a comment, expressing your opinion, or giving any other feedback that somebody else might find valuable. And then you want to make sure that you're then sharing that with other people. So if you're like, wow, that was a really great post, I am going to share this with this person. They would absolutely love it. They love this kind of stuff. I know that they'll find great value in that too. And that is really just giving back to your community so that your community can get a little more familiar with you. And then in turn, maybe they're trying to get more familiar with you. So they are going to be working to get to know you a bit better as well. And then you also want to make sure that you are networking. So networking is a big part of LinkedIn, like we've already talked about today. So you want to make sure that you're reaching out to people, you're looking at people within your industry. You want to be able to get to know people and build that community even bigger so that your voice and what you're sharing on LinkedIn can be heard and shared by more and more. So you want to make sure that you are connecting with people every day. If you see a post that somebody likes and they're not a connection of you, send them a nice note, be like, I love this post you did, would love to invite you into my network, something along those lines. And so that concludes my formal presentation on LinkedIn optimization. If you have any questions, I will be now moving over to the YouTube panel and see if there's any questions there. Panelists, if you have any questions, I would be happy to take those too and help you out.
Thank you very much, Kate. Thank you very much. That was a very, very insightful session. So we have some questions here. So the first question is, goes thus: people say we shouldn't make LinkedIn another Facebook, but how can we represent or express ourselves, especially with funny videos, etc., on the platform without causing trouble?
You mean posting videos on LinkedIn without causing trouble, kind of like
Yeah.
Facebook, how it has a lot of videos? Yeah, that's a good question. I think that there's an incredible amount of opportunity for videos on LinkedIn because there's not that much currently posted on it. So if you're going to post a video, it will be seen by a lot of people, especially in your network and or other people outside of your network. However, you want to make sure that it is a really great video that you're posting, something that will have value and add value to your community. So that's or LinkedIn, like I kind of said before, is not a place where you're sharing crazy party stories or things that are funny. You can share, so memes would maybe not be the appropriate place for LinkedIn if it's not work related or if it's inappropriate in any way. But if you're sharing a video of you talking about an experience you had or a lesson you learned, or if it's maybe just showing a recap of a video, or if you found a TED Talk, something along those lines, and you want to share that, this would be an absolutely appropriate place to share that.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. So next question says, how do you start a conversation? And I would like the other panelists to also put their own input also, whatever, if they have anything to add.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so starting conversations can be very hard with people, especially if you don't know somebody. Like cold messaging can be a little bit different or intimidating to do. So you want to make sure that you are approaching it in a way that's genuine and reflecting on who you are. So whenever I reach out to somebody, I've already looked at their profile and I've seen like, oh, I like what they're doing, or this person seems really interesting, I want to follow along. And I'll write that in a note, be like, hi, whatever their name is, I came across your profile, and I usually tell them how I found it, if I saw it from my feed or if I had been searched for like a social media strategist. I guess, for example, in their profile happened to pop up, be like, I found your name by searching social media strategist, and then I went on your profile. I really like what you're doing. I'm actually looking to expand my network, and I'd love to have you be a part of that. And then I'll just end it with Kit. And then if they accept, be like, really great to have you a part of here. Let me know if you need anything, kind of like that. And that's a great way to kind of open it up and get to know people, but keep it very lighthearted, I guess, at first, so you have opportunity to grow from there.
Also, Tosin, do you have anything to say in answering the question?
Okay, so I'm going to be very honest. Most times talking to people can be very difficult, because especially if you're talking to somebody that you really respect, or somebody that you've always admired, or talking to someone you've always liked, can be very difficult. So one advice I would always give is that you need to understand that people's times are valuable. So if you're going to talk to somebody, you have to understand that this person is going to take out time to read your message. Is my message worth their time? Does my message have a storyline? Am I just trying to interact? Because you cannot be emailing a director of a company and saying, hey, it doesn't go, because that person has a lot. Like, what are you hearing? Make sure that your message is very concise, has a point, has a message, has an idea, but let the person see what you want from your message and have a value for people's time. So yeah.
That's really great to add in there. Thank you for that. I have another question in here. It says, is it a must to put the green notification on the profile picture when looking for a job? And so there's, and the US at least, on the corner on your profile picture, it'll say open to connections, or open to connect, or looking for a job. And that's a really great way to signal to people that you are open to connections or looking for a job, because it will show up on your profile. So whenever you interact, like, comment on something, that will show up. I don't think it's necessary to put it on there, but if you are really actively searching and you want to find an opportunity right away, I would by all means put that in there, because it shows right away you are looking for it. So it's very clear to anyone that comes across your profile that that is what you're looking for. And then I also had a follow-up question that says, should I add a note when sending a connection request? And absolutely, all the time, I would recommend adding a personalized note when sending a connection request, because this is very important, because there's a lot of bots out there, or people that are just trying to connect with as many people as they can, as quick as they can. And it comes off as very ingenuine. But when you spend the time to stop and send a personalized note, people can tell. People can tell if it was a robot that made that and sent that over, or if it's a real person that spent time on their profile and truly wants to connect and get to know them better. So I would definitely recommend doing that to make sure that you are standing out in a positive way when connecting with other people.
There's another question here, and it says, how do creatives, musical artists and other creatives utilize LinkedIn? Any suggestions?
Yeah, so that's something that I'm not as familiar with, because I'm not professionally a creative, I guess you could say, like a photographer, an artist by my profession, but I have seen on LinkedIn other people using LinkedIn professionally, such as graphic designers or other kind of content creators, and they will publish their art or their work on LinkedIn, and they'll ask for feedback, or they'll talk about the piece a little bit in the comment section, and it will engage with their community in that way. But they also are very active on the other end. So they're very active in the engaging part to get people to their profile. And on their profile, they really do optimize it to make sure that they're driving people. So for example, maybe their call to action is driving people to their website to look at their portfolio, or down at the bottom in their kind of featured section, which is another section that you can play around with and learn on your own. They have pieces of their art that they have, so that if you're scrolling through, you can see their art right away. And so that's a way that they can kind of advertise for themselves on LinkedIn.
I also wanted to add to that. I came across a LinkedIn profile for a comedian. I'd like to share my screen so everyone can see.
Okay, I'll stop sharing so you can do that.
Cool. So, like, the creativity at which he used in expressing himself on LinkedIn is what really amazes me. So this is Rahul Subramanian, And look what he said. I like us to see this. Like the way he has expressed himself on LinkedIn, even though it's a professional space, like, okay, so it said, oh, hey, stop making jokes. This is LinkedIn, not Facebook. This is a professional platform for professionals. And says, I am a stand-up comedian. Making jokes is my profession. Awkward silence. Of course, I know that I was just joking. Then stop making jokes. This is LinkedIn, not Facebook. So this is him capitalizing LinkedIn to push his own creativity, his own profession as a comedian. And it shocked me to realize that J-Lo, that's Jennifer Lopez, also has a LinkedIn profile. I'm like, what is she posting on her profile? Well, as artists, there is the business side to your creative work. Like people say you're a musician, there's the business side to your art as a musician. And you creatively pushing out this content, the processes that goes into you achieving a video or a music release can be a content you can share on LinkedIn. Did you get? So last question says, okay, let me stop sharing. The last question says, is code messaging okay or not?
Yeah, I would absolutely say that cold messaging is okay. That's kind of part of the platform, and it can make it a little bit tricky because it's awkward just to talk to somebody via online messaging that you've never met before. But how are you supposed to meet them or connect with them if you don't know who they are? And so I would recommend, before, if you're going into somebody that maybe you've admired or that is really big on LinkedIn, you maybe want to start by engaging with their content, like maybe commenting on a few of their posts and liking a few of their pieces, not all at once so it doesn't look like spam, but kind of throughout organically so that they kind of get to know, maybe have seen you or engage with you in the comments a little bit. And then after a few touch points of engagement, then go into the connection request and say, I really, really like what you're doing with this, this, and this. Love to connect you or have you a part of my network and grow with you here. Something along those lines. So it's keeping it simple. It shows that you know actually who this person is and you've been following along with them. You can even refer to, I've liked or commented on a few of your posts. I've really enjoyed it. Something so I can kind of refer back to that they actually kind of know who you are, if that makes sense.
Cool. Tosin, do you have anything to say on this question?
Just to be sure, is it on cold messaging or the person that is a comedian that wants to put something on?
You can give your points on both.
Okay, so concerning the person that is an artist or in the entertainment industry, I think we have so much capitalized LinkedIn as a career place or strictly for 9 to 5 people, professionals who wear suits. And I think LinkedIn is a place to express your craft, but I also think that the rules of work and office ethic must be maintained. So language that you will not use in a typical work setting or in a meeting, do not use on LinkedIn. And the appearance, the way you will look, the way you will dress in a typical business or work setting, you have to maintain that appearance on LinkedIn. So I see no problem with sharing your craft on LinkedIn as long as you maintain an element of professionalism and you are not using foul language and you are promoting your business in a professional manner. Then concerning cold messaging, I think that why not? Anything goes, really. Anything goes. So yeah, that's just all I wanted to add.
So I have another question here. So there are people you look up to, there are professionals that high profiled personnel in the world of work that you look up to. So the question says, how can you be persistent in getting these people I'm adding these people to your network without you being a pest? How can you be persistent without being a pest in getting people in your network?
I would say, especially with high profile people, a lot of them don't engage on LinkedIn because they do have that big public persona behind them. But make sure that you know that they are still looking at your stuff. They're still reading your stuff. They're still checking it out. If you are an active person that is bringing a lot of value that they might find valuable within their industry, they will be looking at that if they somehow come across it in your profile. Or other people within your network, they're like, oh, like, I really like this person. They're up to really great things, but they never engage with my posts. And if they're kind of a higher profile person, they most likely are, but they just don't want to have a lot of those likes or comments tied back to them. So they just are looking and reading, but not engaging. And so it's kind of a bigger step for you as a person that is not sure if they're engaging with your stuff, not sure if this person is even looking at your stuff, to reach out. But I would just make sure to have brief touch points that have no direction. Like you're not trying to get anything out of that conversation other than trying to get to know them. Connecting and genuine connections should truly be your first priority when doing cold messaging or getting to know people just in general. Like you shouldn't be trying to get something out of somebody. So when you reach out to somebody, be like, hey, really liked maybe referring a post that they did or something that you saw their company did, or asking them a specific industry question that maybe they could help you with, just to kind of open that door for conversation. Be like, really been enjoying this, hope your holidays are going well, or have this specific question for you, was wondering if you had the time to answer it. Or you could even, something that I've done with other people too, is I will say, I love to kind of get to know people. You're somebody that really interests me. If you have time in your schedule, I would be really excited about doing a 15-minute networking call. And then because I am positioning myself as a small business and a service provider online, I make sure to add in no BS, no surprise sales call, like really just want to get to know you and connect better and see if they kind of engage with that. And you do want to like kind of put that out there and give the preface, because a lot of people will say, oh, let's connect. And it's a fake sales call that you're on for 15 minutes and it's pretty annoying. So just being very genuine with everything that you're doing is definitely the best way to go with those connections.
Okay, Tosin, you have anything to say on how do you become persistent without being a pest?
Yeah. So I think the rule is that don't message somebody more times than you want to be messaged. So if you think that for you, when somebody starts texting you 5 times in a day, like for you, that is the limit. Don't ever pass that limit. So I think the rule of do unto others what you want others to do to you would really apply. Think of how you, and also put an element of self-respect on yourself. Nobody ever respects somebody that is pleading and begging. So I think just putting the element of putting yourself in a place where you will not be disrespected goes a long way. So I think the line is defined by you and defined by the person you're in a conversation with. But I also think that there is a place of also putting respect, and really you don't need to text someone 3 times in a day. Everybody is busy. I've always said people don't have as much time as you think. So I think there is the place of giving people respect and respecting their time, and also respecting yourself.
Oh, that's interesting. So in the comment section, there is a link. I'd like everyone to click on the link. We'd like to get feedback from the community, from those who have participated in this call, and we'd like to get feedback from you on how we can prepare for future webinars, as we believe that this is not just the final one, this is just the medium, and we believe and we are open to have more impactful sessions in the future. So please let everyone click on the link in the comment section and fill the feedback form. Thank you. So as we wrap up, I would like Kit and Tosin to give their final advice, generally life, career building, general advice to our audience.
I guess I'll start just with some advice I was given. It's just don't be afraid to take that step. Like you won't be perfect at first. You won't get things right. It won't be how you want it to look, but just putting that out there and being bold enough to take that step is kind of, I guess, my piece of advice. So whether that's posting content, whether that's networking and getting to know somebody, you won't be perfect at first, but if you keep doing it, you'll learn and grow with yourself, and then you will get to the level that you want to be at.
So we just add Mr. Jai back on the call. He stepped out for a while. So I would like Mr. Jai to really speak on the last question that was asked. So the question that was asked was, how do you become persistent in reaching out to high-profile personnel without being a pest? How can you be persistent without being a pest in reaching out to high-profile people on LinkedIn?
I think the easiest way to do that, I kind of mentioned it before, is via, how do I call it? Value addition, right? So for example, if I'm trying to reach out to, say, Professor Ndubisi, right? Now, I know he does this Techidia Institute. So I'll look at that and see, okay, how can I help him push that to somewhere that might get him some sort of engagement, right? I need his attention. I'm offering him something in return for that. Now, people like to associate themselves with solution providers. If you have a solution in your hand to something that I'm doing, I'll listen to you more than just the random 100 or 500 people trying to just say hello, hi to me and send me a CV for me to look at. I'll probably just ignore the messages. But if you tell me that, oh, there's this training I'm doing, you have this platform, or you have people that might be interested, could you help with sharing the flyer on my platforms? Or, even if your WhatsApp status or your LinkedIn or something, you're offering me value. I see value, I drift towards value. So if you are a candidate and you want to attract somebody, don't go with the step of taking from them. Go from the angle of trying to help them, give to them. When you give to them, they are obliged to give to you at some point. Now, it's like they now owe you. When you do someone a favor, in their mind, they owe you one. They won't do it immediately, but the day you ask or the day you need it, they will come through for you because you've done something for them, except they are just ungrateful people. But people are not like that. Most guys I met on LinkedIn are ready to do something for you if you are adding value to them. You understand? So the best way to do it is to render a service or to help out, volunteer your time, have something that they want, and in return, you will get their attention. And at that point, you might never need to be asking for it because they will be ready to push you and make you better because you are doing something for them. And they feel if you are doing this for me, it means you are doing it for others. Then you should get the right opportunity and then they will push you. I think that sums it up.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jaye. So, Tosin, any final words for our audience?
I will speak to all the young people on the call. It's never too early to start building your brand and building who you want to be. It is never too early to put yourself out there, and like Kit says, you should never be afraid of a no. Just that's literally the worst anybody can tell you, a no. So put yourself out there, build your brand. You don't have to wait till you have that 6-figure job or till you are working in a top firm. Whatever you are doing now, make it seem like it is the most important thing in the world, and everybody would naturally be attracted to whatever you are doing. Sell yourself and sell who you are, sell whatever you are doing. And I don't think there's anybody that would not buy your story. Don't ever let anybody give you the idea that LinkedIn is just for professional. LinkedIn is for creative, for students. Anybody that wants to showcase who they are and what they can do, it's a networking site, and there's nobody that you cannot meet. So send out that DM, send out that message, because there is nobody you cannot meet. And I think that's all I want to say. That's all I have to say.
We just got a question, and it says the essence of LinkedIn is building a pool of people, network, who should reach out to you first whenever an opportunity comes up at the moment. Reverse seems to be the case. Why?
I don't get that question. Could you repeat?
The essence of LinkedIn is building a pool of people, network, who should reach out to you first whenever an opportunity comes up at the moment. Do you get? Like, if there's an opportunity, the essence of LinkedIn is to build a network to inform you of those opportunities. But
That
reverse
definition is
seems to be the
wrong
case, right?
definition. That definition is wrong.
Okay.
LinkedIn is a networking platform, simple and short. It's like saying a marketplace is a place where, how do I put it? Sellers or buyers, prompt sellers on what they want. No, if you go to a market, you look for the shop that sells what you have on your list, right? And then you bargain with them and you buy and go away. It's like that. Nobody will just randomly come and drop products on your face. Everybody has a store. Of course, hawking is a different thing entirely. You can hawk your product, but if you are selling with stores, your stores are there. I come in, I like what I see, I buy. Same thing for LinkedIn. Everybody is on that platform for networking and opportunities. Opportunities are sent to you via post. If you are active, you will see those opportunities. Nobody will send you a DM about an opportunity. No. If you really want that opportunity, you will follow the hashtags that post such opportunities. And when they post, you will get a notification. It is not Father Christmas. No. You are supposed to be involved in the process of getting your job, not people serving it to your table. It will not happen that way if you have that notion. It might seem difficult because we want it placed on our platter. No, you have to work for these things. You have to go all out. This is why people always connect daily. They go on the platform, they reach out to people. When you develop some set of network, yeah, they might send you some openings if you are their friend. But okay, for example, I have 48,000 people, and I'm sure I have close to half of that number looking for a role or two. So I'm supposed to be sending 24,000 people roles whenever I see them. How am I going to have a life if I do that? It's not possible. What that question is defining LinkedIn to be is a wrong definition. The person should correct that notion so they won't get frustrated by the platform.
Kit, would you like to add to what Mr. Jayola said?
I would agree with a lot of what he said. It's a platform where you have to be giving out a lot of things too. And so as you are putting out content, you're getting to know your followers better. They might come to you with things, but you have to also be actively looking for things. So if there's jobs that are posted on LinkedIn, so applying for those, if that's something that you're looking for, or just getting to know people. And as you for me as a small business owner and someone that offers online services, I never try to push my services too much on people. But if someone has been engaging with me a lot and I see that they're a business and they fit into my ideal client avatar, I like to just message them and be like, hey, I know we've been connecting a lot and I know that you like my stuff that I'm putting out. If you're interested, I do offer these services. If you want to learn more, I'd be happy to tell you about them more. And I keep it very simple, not very short, not very salesy, because that's just kind of who I am. And that kind of just opens it up. And that's how I've had some opportunities come. So if you're looking more as a business owner or somebody, you can kind of go about that way. Or if you're somebody that's networking and you see somebody is engaging with your stuff a lot, you can reach out to them, be like, oh, I love engaging with you. Love to kind of get to know you more. I never come out. LinkedIn, I never really use as okay, I'm going to engage with this person because I want to get this, or I want this, so I'm going to find this person, this person, this person. The opportunities really come to you organically and naturally, and that's how they should be. It shouldn't be forced or unnatural in any of those ways.
Cool. So, Mr. J, what do you have any? What are your final words to our audience?
Well, I think people need to take responsibilities for what they want, right? If it's a career you want to build, take responsibility for it. Put this thing in your hands and work at it. If you don't put in the work, you won't reap the results. There are over 500 million people on LinkedIn, and everybody will come out and tell you this is what they are doing or this is what they are getting. It's because they are putting in the work. You don't want to just sit on the sideline and say, oh, what are they saying? They are always talking about, this and that, oh, this training, this job, but I haven't gotten anything. So what you need to do or look at is check this person and what they are doing that you are not doing. And you can actually ask that person, oh, how are you doing this? I'm interested. I want to get an opportunity as well. I'm sure they will share with you some things, and then you take that up and you do it. So action. That's what I'm going to tell people. Take action, and that is how you get results.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jayola. So we've come to the end of the webinar, and it was really a great time. I want to apologize for all technical issues experienced in setting the webinar rolling. I also want to thank Kit for the sacrifice on our end because of the time zone difference. Apparently, it's quite very early at your end. I really want to appreciate you taking our time to be with us. We also want to use the opportunity to congratulate Mr. J on his newly wedded, journey on the part of being newly wedded. Congrats, and we wish you a blissful married life.
Thank you very much, I know.
We want to thank Tosin. You had a very busy schedule, but then you made out time to be with us. Thank you very much. I also want to use the opportunity to appreciate the whole One Accord team who have been on the call and have been working towards the success of this project. And I also want to use the opportunity to appreciate EduStart. EduStart is also another organization which runs a similar vision as One Accord, to reduce unemployment and to inspire the entrepreneurial mindsets of African youths. And they were gracious enough to give us support in organizing this event. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for watching, and thank you all for learning. Till next time.